Nicodemus here. On today's episode, I wanted to touch on like how do we deal with a family member that is super stuck in their ways or place, and we're just like someone that is always seeing the glass half empty in life. Because I feel like it wears down on me, and it's hard to be in relationship with them. So how we do it?
Yeah. So it's a great question, and it's very relevant for most people, really everyone, because like that old Ram Dass saying, if you think you're enlightened, go spend the weekend with your family, because they, especially the really close ones, know our buttons as well. So to remain neutral and not react is a very challenging thing, especially in the closer relationships, relationships with parents or siblings, children. So the goal ultimately is to not be in a reaction to, because if I'm in reaction to someone or even a situation, it's not really about the person themselves or the situation itself. It's really about my beliefs or interpretations about the situation that ultimately dictate what I see and how I see it. So, and in relating to other people, I think one of the most challenging things is we have all these expectations and we want people to be a certain way. Now, it doesn't mean that we need to be doormats, and it also doesn't mean that you just hang out with them necessarily all the time. I think the answer to what you were saying is really having clear boundaries. And there's some people that you can't really, I had a family member once, I remember that it's just like only talked to them about 5 subjects, and ultimately, if I have no attachment or no judgment on how it should look, as long as I'm giving them love, it really doesn't matter, because what the Course says is everything's either love or a call for love. So the answer to every situation ultimately is forgiveness. Now, if someone's acting insane, and if they're acting from the ego, they're definitely acting insane. But the Course says it's not really up to us, though, to tell them and try to correct them, because the correction doesn't come from us. Really, ultimately, it's about the correction in our own mind, our own thoughts. So you have to almost imagine in relationship, I think one of the best approaches and the only approach of power is if this person doesn't change. If you can never talk to them more than 3 subjects, or that's it, and maybe you only spend a small period of time with them. But the question becomes is, when I do that, can I choose between forgiveness or condemnation? Because that's really that's what we vacillate between. It's either there's forgiveness and I'm going to only remember the loving thoughts, and no matter what, I'm not going to get roped into conflict. It's just I'm not going to, because for me to get roped into conflict with you is to hurt both of us. So no matter what, it's just not, it's not, I'm going to do my best to communicate effectively. My goal and my work, if you will, is to not be reactive. So and I know it's a really, like the Course says, this is what we're almost in some ways learning to be or aspire to ultimately. It's not so easy though, in the human experience. But the more we practice it, the more, and we can just practice it with the toughest relationships. And, it's not always like, no one's life is just sunsets and rainbows and puppies. And, everyone has if you call it the yin and the yang. So there's some people though too that are so lost in the mind, and especially as they get older, they get so lost in their thinking and their ways and there's no changing, there's no opening. And that happens for people. I think that also is often a testament to the way people live. And, it's all still the same, though. If everything's either love or a call for love, that means if somebody's even acting insanely, it's still a call for love. The Course says if everything's either love or a call for love, for you and I to respond with anything but love would make us insane. That would make us insane, crazy. Like crazy in the sense of like in the wrong-mindedness. So what do? I mean, you get to have boundaries. The thing about it to understand is even if you don't talk to them, your minds are always joined. All minds are joined. And that is the whole, the sonship, and SON in the masculine sense, because the Course is written in masculine language, but also sun, like the rays of sun. We are all extensions, if you will, of God, of the Creator, of the One, we're like all the rays of that sun. So the whole point is, if I offer anything but love or peace or forgiveness to what I see, if I offer anything other than that, I'm attacking myself, and then I weaken myself, and now I'm in hell. So ultimately, it's to free you so that you can be the light and show others. And the ones who are ready to see it will see it. The ones who aren't won't, and it won't. You'll never be able to get some of them too. So it's a few. That's why it's so like, I'll just ask for correction of my mind, of all of our minds, for myself and for everyone. But only I can ask that in my own experience, and as we, with family members, it's a really great practice. Can you be around them, no matter how they are, and just be love? And no matter what you see, see if you can not judge it. Now, you don't want to be, it's not about being like a doormat and people can just, scream at you and be, we can be very, hold on. If we can't have loving thoughts or loving, words, then we should continue the conversation another time. Like boundaries like that, things like that. If it ever you're in a situation where someone's trying to create conflict, there's always ways to diffuse it and bring it back to peace, to forgiveness, and still make requests and have agreements with people, have boundaries. All of that is part of it. But it's I love you and all of what I see, because I offer love to it rather than attack or distance or a wall, because that splits oneness, really, ultimately. That's why forgiveness is so powerful. So how about, as a practice, be around the people that irritate you and see, can you be there and not react? Or even if you see a reaction, to not let it take you over, and just maybe breathe, and you could say a prayer, or, recommit, or just like, what am I'm committed to in this relationship and here, and have it happen, and in terms of an experience. And if I say I'm committed to a loving experience, then I keep shifting myself until I create it. And that's ultimately expressing miracles and demonstrating miracles, which is what the Course is all about, and what all of our relationships give us the opportunity to do.